Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thought I'd dive on today and have a quick chat about the bill that went through yesterday in Parliament, the assisted dying bill. I've got very mixed emotions on what I think about that. I can see the two sides of it, and obviously there was a big outside of Parliament. As I say, this isn't a political, this is a personal thing, and I'll get into that in a minute. I can see both sides of the story. If you're very ill with no chance of ever coming back, terminally ill, you have got the right, I think, in my own opinion, to push the button. I mean, if you're sound of mind and there's no chance of you getting better and you know that possibly you will only get worse, you know, if you decide, because no one else is in your shoes, if you decide to push the exit button, that should be down to your personal choice, as long as you're sound of mind. Obviously there's other things to think about. Obviously there's people that, you know, some people that are in a position of next to kin maybe, or power of attorney, and they possibly would benefit from your dying. It's difficult to sort of argue. There's arguments both sides. There was a situation many years ago, before I was born, in my family. My cousin, I'll tell you a little story. My cousin was playing football. He was around 7 years old, I believe. He's a lot older than me, but he was playing football and went for the ball, and another boy went for the ball as well, kicked him in the stomach, and he rolled around in absolute agony, and his stomach started to swell. They called the emergency services. The ambulance turned up and took him away. Obviously the first thing that they'd done was get him into an x-ray to see what had happened. It turns out that he, unknown to anyone, had a twin brother that was born inside of him. Now, this has only happened a couple of times in the Royal London Hospital. He was treated in the Royal London Hospital, and there was another boy, I think he was from China or Japan, I can't remember, had the same thing. And as I understand it, at the time, there was only ever 2 cases of this ever been recorded. So he had his brother, his twin brother, was born inside him, and he was 7 years old without anyone even knowing. Obviously the twin had passed away during. Listen, it's a very technical and medical situation that I'm not completely aware of. But as it worked out, his twin had died inside of him. He had grown hair and grown teeth, passed away, and obviously, you know, without getting too technical, when someone passes away, they eventually start to decompose, and he had decomposed quite badly inside his stomach. Obviously, he wasn't massive. You know, I'm not talking about a great big 4-year-old child type of thing, but there was signs of hair and teeth had actually developed. So I don't really know how the child stayed alive for so long. He was obviously living for some time off of my cousin. Well, this would have been my cousin as well. So basically he had to have an awful lot of operations, because they had to remove the brother from him. Where the brother had grown inside of him, all of his organs had moved around to compensate for it. And he had to undergo multiple operations, life-threatening operations, to see if he could survive this. They went in, done some operations, and it was getting worse and worse. And they said, look, there's one final chance. I think he had something like 20 operations. The doctors said to my aunt and uncle that he's got one chance left. Do you want us to do the operation? It could be quite dangerous to do. He will possibly pass away from this last one, but if he doesn't, he will pass away anyway. My uncle said he wanted the operation to go ahead. My auntie said, no, let's just let him pass. He's been through too much. It caused massive rows in the family at the time. Obviously, I'm only going by what I've been told because I wasn't around at the time. So there is a weird ending to this. It was then decided that he was going to have this final operation. And the night before the operation happened, my mum, obviously this was her nephew, knelt down on her bedside and prayed to God and said, if I never have a child, make sure that David survives. That's a true story. He went through the operation. The operation was a success, and he lives to this day a normal life. And now this is before I was born, so we're going back quite a few years. He lives to this day. He has to have a check every 5 years. Even now, he still has to go to the hospital every 5 years to check that everything's, okay. If you're hearing a bit of a weird noise in the background, I'm not sure if you can, that's the hoover of the pool that's going round, and it's just decided to come up to the very top of the pool and go along the top, so it's sucking in air as well as water. There you go. It will just drop down now because obviously the air stops the filter from the suction of it. Anyway, moving along. The operation was a success and he did live. Now, the weird part of this, that my mum had knelt down and said, if I never have a child, please make sure that David lives. A few years later, I was born on his birthday. So we share the same birthday. It's just a strange little topic. Now, had this bill had passed back then, there would have been, the assisted dying possibly would have come into that. Was it fair that my aunt said that she didn't want him to go through this further operation? Obviously, with love in mind and thinking about her son that had been through so much. And my uncle said, yeah, let's do it. Now, had there been this assisted dying thing there, possibly that could have come into it. But had my aunt had her way, excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. That's a little bit of hay fever from the plants. Had my aunt had her way, he wouldn't have survived. Whereas my uncle decided, there's going to be another sneeze. No, there's not. Yes, there is. No, there's not. My uncle decided that he was going to give it that one last try, which I suppose the way it's worked really well because obviously he's still here today. And that's just made me think yesterday when I saw this assisted dying bill. I know it's got to go through the Commons, and I know, but there's a good possibility it will. I've got mixed feelings on it, personal mixed feelings on it. And this is in no way a political post because I do see both sides of the coin here. I see the people that are against it. I see the people that are for it. I just think if you're sound of mind and it's your decision, as in you yourself, then I think you have the right to decide, like you would change your job or change your car or move house or move country or do anything. They're all your decisions. And I think if you're sound of mind and it's proved that you're sound of mind and the pain is too much and it's only going to get worse, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm interested in this, as I say, and it just made me think of my cousin when I heard about it yesterday. So I thought I'd just jump on and give my view on, as I say, I see both sides of it. So I'd just be interested in people's comments and what they think. Obviously, it could open up a bit of a debate in the chat, but that's my personal feeling on the subject. Hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll speak to you all soon.